you didn't get into this because of TV or Hollywood?
No, definitely not. But I don't know. I like to help people.
So when you were a little kid, were you always trying to put Band-Aids on people and stuff?
No, actually when I was a little kid, I never thought I would be a doctor.
The FACES mentoring program has been going strong for nearly 6 years. Vanessa is one of many who graduate and eventually realize their dream.
I don't think it's so much that I'm smart, but I think it's more that I have an interest for it. So it makes it a lot easier to understand everything. And when it's something you want to learn, you really go for it. And
so what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I get older, I want to be a pediatrician. Yeah, lots of medical school and stuff like that.
But you're in the right place.
But yes, definitely.
Hey everybody, my name is Angela Tai. I'm the project coordinator with FACES for the Future Coalition. We are back today with another Alumni Spotlight. Today we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Vanessa Nutters, and she's going to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa. I'm a FACES graduate of 2010. I'm also an Oakland Tech graduate, and I graduated from UC Davis in 2015. I began there as a biological science major with the intention of going into pediatrics as a physician.
And so what do you do now?
I'm a guidance counselor at Oakland Tech for their health academy, and I actually help young people who are interested in health and medicine discover their passions and do internships in the field.
I see that your current role now is different from your original idea when you first went to UC Davis. Do you mind explaining?
Yeah, so I started out as a biological science major at UC Davis, and I got to take many different classes in the health sciences. One of them was a medical anthropology class, and another was healthcare in underserved populations. And I quickly realized that I had a fascination for something that I saw as a public health issue, which was education. And I quickly did some research, tried to find out what other majors there were in the school that can kind of focus on that versus just the health sciences, and I did find one. It was science and technology studies. And so by transitioning into that major, I was able to study the socioeconomic and political kind of ramifications of health sciences and the effect that they have on communities.
Seeing that change in your career trajectory, do you mind telling us how FACES kind of played a role in that?
Professionally, I feel like it allowed me to explore an avenue that I might not have known otherwise. I was exposed to a lot of violence and trauma as a child, so I didn't exactly put into perspective that I could go into a health profession. Of course, when you visit the doctor's office, there are not many people that look like us, that are of an underserved or marginalized background. And so I was able to gain mentors that look like me, but that were able to do really great things with their lives. And so that inspired me too.
And outside of just your professional development, what about how did FACES help you personally as a high school?
I feel like personally, FACES sort of saved me. I began the FACES for the Future program at a very vulnerable time in my life. I was 15. I grew up in East Oakland, and by the time I was 16, I had been homeless several times. I grew up in a household of addicts. I grew up again in East Oakland, so around a lot of violence, prostitution, drugs. FACES sort of gave me the opportunity to see the other side of the possibilities for me and what I would be able to do with my own life. And I feel like it allowed me to have opportunities that I otherwise would not have known had it not been for that internship. It sort of allowed me a safe space to have a second family that I could spend time with and get help from and talk to.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that story of resiliency and coming back to your community to inspire that further into the youth as well. Do you have a specific memory at FACES in your rotations or anything?
Yeah, the pulmonary functions lab. I had an awesome experience when I was interning in the pulmonary functions lab at Children's Hospital. I believe it was Dr. Ellison. and he was very attentive and very patient with me. Of course, I was a high school student and I didn't know much in the hospital, didn't know much about science either, but he was always very patient and helped me learn about the body, learn about the lungs and the respiratory system, and he made sure that I understood and could repeat back to him what I was learning, and I thought that was amazing. I also had a great experience in the hematology department where I learned about nurse practitioners and how they are not just nurses, but they sort of run a department and do all these other administrative things.
They play a strong role.
They play a super strong role in the clinical setting, so I thought that was amazing.
And you know, if you want to speak into the camera, do you have any kind of personal advice for our current FACES students and our FACES alumni too?
Yeah, of course. I think for the current students, you guys are doing great. I think it's a really huge decision to commit to a program for years of your life when you're still a young person. And that's like the first step. That's huge. So keep going. Remember your passions. If they help you stay focused, if you just keep your end goal in mind. Things might be hard in the meantime, but it's always possible to keep going. FACES is like a family, so you can always reach out to them and reach out to your mentors, Dr. Magana, whoever your site coordinator might be. All these people really want to see you succeed and want to help you, so I think that's really important. For alumni, I would say just give back, but it's really important, especially as a healthcare professional, and even just as someone as part of the program, to give back and remember where you started.
So before we conclude, I just want to say a sincere thank you on my behalf. Your story is super inspiring, and I know your advice is genuine, and I know the FACES students and the FACES alumni out there will take it to heart as well. And I just want to say another thank you to our audience tuning in. Please watch our next video, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.